Chapter 61 Great Circulation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This junior brother is always thinking about me and he really understands me. Faced with Han Tao's request, Qian Renxue couldn't think of any reason to refuse, so, she gave the top meditation method Great Zhou Tian newly exhibited by Wuhuan Palace. This meditation method is very powerful, very powerful. It is DouluoDalu's proud work, but no one can learn it. Qian Renxue couldn't master it herself, and neither Bibi Dong nor the title Douluo from Wuhuan Palace had learned it, so she was extremely generous and gave this useless meditation method. There is a prerequisite for the Great Zhou Tian, which is to open up the 12 regular meridians and the 8 extraordinary meridians, on Douluo continent. How many soul masters have opened up the 8 extraordinary meridians? There are only a handful of them. Ning Fengji, the application of the 7th level of distraction control method, combined with the oscillation theory, opened up the 8 extraordinary meridians. Among the fairy grass, there is a being called Narcissus Jade Muscle and Bone, which can open up the 8 extraordinary meridians. Then there is only Shantian Kung. Han Tao will not be distracted by the 7th level of the control method, however. Using a trick, the flow rate of the meditation method was used to change the frequency of the soul power wave, which was consistent with the frequency of Zhao Wuji's powerful Vajra roar. At a certain moment, it broke through the 8 extraordinary meridians. Opening up the 8 extraordinary meridians is extremely valuable, but compared to the difficulty, the benefits are not high. Therefore, the vast majority of soul masters in Douluo continent do not deliberately study how to open the 8 extraordinary meridians, but focus on improving their soul power level. In Great Zhou Tian, the training conditions are extremely harsh and it is not considered a good technique. But the combination of the two is Wang Jia, the best of the best. Thank you. Han Tao accepted the technique, very satisfied. It has been a long time since he has opened up the 8 extraordinary meridians, but there is no corresponding practice method. He did not expect that Qian Renxue would solve such worries for him at this moment. Sure enough, opportunity rewards the brave. Then, Han Tao and Qian Renxue reached a verbal agreement. Xue Feng, there is no need to kill him. After Qian Renxue came back, she casually glanced at Xiefeng and said. Why? He already knows my identity. Only by killing him can I avoid future troubles. Xiefeng immediately disagreed. As long as Han Tao is alive, he is a threat to him. It's okay, he is in my hands now and will not do anything bad to you. Qian Renxue understood Xiefeng's concerns, so she was a little more patient and tried to find a way to dispel Xiefeng's concerns. I will practice the meditation method of Wuhuan Palace. While the two were talking, Han Tao suddenly spoke. In this way, I also have something in your hands. You can accuse me of being a traitor at any time. Han Tao sat down cross-legged and began to practice the 12 sutras of the Great Zhou Tian meditation method. The Tiando meditation method is a weakened version of the Great Zhou Tian. Han Tao has already developed the 12 sutras, which is included in the information from Wuhuan Palace. The traces of the Wuhuan Palace meditation method cannot be deleted. There are traces of the practice, but the origin of the meditation method cannot be told. If reported by other disciples, Han Tao would not be able to defend himself. After hearing Han Tao's answer, Xiefeng thought for a moment. Suddenly, he laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, Brother Han is so courageous, that he stepped forward and patted Han Tao on the shoulder, showing admiration for Han Tao's courage. Not everyone has the courage to give away the clues to others, and they are still hostile forces. Xiefeng had no hatred towards Han Tao, but he just discovered his identity and chose to kill him in order to keep the secret. Even if I am practicing the Tiando meditation method, I have no chance to learn such advanced meditation methods. Han Tao was a little strange, but he understood it in an instant. The Great Zhou Tian meditation method created by DouluoDalu is not rare in Wuhuan Palace, and many people can learn it. I was originally wondering why Xiefeng didn't learn, but I thought it was because he had a hidden plan, so he put it on hold. Brother Xue will need to take care of you from now on. After exchanging pleasantries, they relaxed a little. As several people left, their lives were officially out of danger. Standing still, the first light of the rising sun came from the edge of the wasteland. Han Tao looked far away. Thoughts also drift to the future. He seemed to understand why Wuhuan Palace's soul hunting operation included the Qibao glazed sect. Xiefeng, as a member of the sect's theoretical assessment, We'll learn the supplementary study list, then, when he was in the library. He found the data of level 50 seraphs in the book The Rough Range of Combat Power of Each Martial Spirit. Guess what Xiafeng will think of? What will you do? When Wuhuan Palace learned that the Qibao glazed sect knew about their plan to steal the country, according to Wuhuan Palace's style, they would naturally eliminate this crisis in advance. The fate of the Qibao glazed sect is already obvious. During his narrow escape, Han Tao obtained the right leg bone of the 100,000-year-old blue-silver emperor. This was the biggest gain of his trip. Then they met Qian Renxue and Xiafeng in their group, and encountered a life-and-death crisis. As long as there is one mistake, it will be the end of death, but even if he is out of danger, he has also put a layer of shackles on himself. So, is Ning Rong the same? The fairy grass in your body is in conflict all the time. Is this your shackles? But why do you want to eat all the fairy grass? Isn't one Chilua tulip enough? That this is exactly what Han Tao is wondering about. Greed. If it is attributed to greed, this reason cannot convince Han Tao. In the face of interests, some people may give up their lives, but Ning Rong is obviously not one of them. Fear of suffering, fatigue, and death are her true nature. Perhaps, wait until I find her, everything will be reasonably explained. There are no more twists and turns along the way. Han Tao successfully returned to the 7 treasures. Glazed sect and began to practice the great Zhou meditation method developed by Douluo, passing through the 12 main meridians, intersecting at the 8 extraordinary meridians, and differentiating in the fine meridians. A complete Zhou is constructed, because of the practice experience of Tiando meditation method and Qibao meditation method. Han Tao got the hang of the great Zhou meditation method this time. Hu. Inhale. The deep part of the great Zhou meditation method is not only the mobilization of mental power, but also requires the cooperation of breathing method. The breathing method includes a series of short inhalations and a long, slower and more even exhalation. The flow of soul power in the meridians is the liquid circulation in a soul master's body. Breathing is the absorption of external gas, which is circulated throughout the body by the lungs and belongs to the gaseous veins. In the soul master's body. Amazing talent. Douluo is worthy of being Douluo, using the gaseous power generated by breathing to assist the guidance of mental power. The soul power is prompted to complete the great circulation of the 8 meridians. Qirong Tongtianju. Before Han Tao, he only saw Douluo's martial soul, a fairy grass martial soul with considerable strength. But he denied his achievements in the field of theory. Perhaps, compared to his theory, strength is more admirable. Strength is the mainstream of Douluo continent. This is a bloody reality. Most forces take strength as the first priority. It's not that theory is not important, but compared to theory, the existence of a title Douluo is more reassuring. Chapter 62 Acupoints. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Under the same frequency resonance, Han Tao's 8 extraordinary meridians were connected. The speed of cultivation was significantly improved. But the influence of the 8 extraordinary meridians was not limited to this. The 12 main meridians are connected to the internal organs, and the 8 extraordinary meridians are involved in the 7 orifices. The 7 orifices correspond to the 5 senses. The 5 senses are sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. In the current Douluo continent, except for Tang San's purple demon eye, there is almost no means to enhance the 5 senses. At this moment, the operation of the great Zhou meditation method is persistent and slowly progressive in enhancing the 5 senses. With the operation of the great Zhou meditation method, the 5-dimensional perception will be enhanced little by little with cultivation. It seems that it overlaps. The 6th level of the distraction control method includes the part of mental power tempering perception. The cultivation of the 8 extraordinary meridians can gradually enhance the 5 senses. The only innate advantage of the blue-silver grass is its strong perception. Is it the same destination or a divergence of different species? That if you can't think of the result, you might as well test it in practice. The 3rd soul skill, blue-silver eye. As the 3rd soul skill was released, the blue-silver grass seeds were summoned and spread wildly in the air. The blue-silver eye can increase the soul master's extra perception. Han Tao took out his diary and began to record. The direction of influence is different. The distraction control method enhances the spiritual perception. The 8 meridians are related to the 7 orifices, which enhances the 5 senses, which is the body's own perception. The blue-silver eye is an additional perception provided by the outside, and the 3 are completely different. Body perception, spiritual perception, external perception. Han Tao wrote down 3 new concepts. I don't know if there is a definition of perception in Douluo continent. Han Tao doesn't care about it for now. He directly defines the perception of different levels according to his own understanding. Body perception is critical and very important. Spiritual perception is not omnipotent. This is another discovery. The soul power of the 8 meridians continues to flow, which will gradually enhance the body's perception. What is the use of the body's perception? Can the eyes see farther, or can the ears hear more accurately? All of these are there, but they are not the key points. The key point is the sense of touch. The sense of touch includes the soul master's ability to feel the meridians and acupoints. Han Tao's innate spiritual perception allowed him to discover the existence of acupoints, but he could not mobilize his soul power to rush directly. The most fundamental reason was that his body did not have enough sense of touch. The spiritual power can sense and guide the soul power to open acupoints. The sense of touch of the meridians can monitor the strength, characteristics, and direction of the soul power in real time. It's like a person's left and right legs, which complement each other and make walking more stable. But if you insist that you are strong enough, you can walk on one leg, when spiritual perception far exceeds the norm. It can naturally make up for the lack of physical perception, especially when the spiritual power is self-systemized. All defects will be meaningless. However, Han Tao can't systematize his spiritual power. Han Tao's spiritual power is not strong. It has only increased a little bit by improving the quality of his martial soul. How can it be systematized? Physical perception is the prerequisite for opening acupoints. What consequences will it cause if Han Tao opens acupoints directly without caring about physical perception? Wrong direction, power deviation, under the rush and collision. Who knows where the soul power will be directed to? What if the heart orifice explodes? If you want to open the orifice, you must have physical perception and you must open the 8 extraordinary meridians. After the 12 meridians and the 8 extraordinary meridians, there are orifices. These 3, step by step, are the first 3 links of the orthodox system of cultivation. How can the internal organs that have not been tempered by the 12 meridians withstand frequency resonance, and how can the 8 extraordinary meridians be opened? Without the improvement of the 5 senses brought by the 8 extraordinary meridians, even if the mental power penetrates into the microscopic, how can the orifice be concretely manipulated? Theory exists, practice begins. Han Tao made up his mind. It's time to start the next stage. The third soul skill, blue-silver eye, that the blue-silver grass seeds were released by Han Tao and distributed on his body's surface, relying on external perception to make up for the lack of physical perception. It is equivalent to a lame man with inconvenient legs and feet, taking out a pair of crutches to help himself walk, taking a trick. This is another trick, with the 3 perception abilities intertwined. Han Tao intuitively and clearly saw the existence of acupoints, remaining inside the body, at certain key nodes, like starlight, like a black hole. Acupoints are no longer a concept at this moment. Opening acupoints is no longer a fantasy, but a real possibility. There are already hundreds of acupoints in the 8 meridians. This is Han Tao's first discovery. In the Great Zhoutian meditation method, the soul power passes through 17 acupoints. This is Han Tao's second discovery. What does this show? This shows that Han Tao is not the first soul master to discover the existence of acupoints. Perhaps Douluo has already reached this step, or perhaps he has gone further than Han Tao. First test the known, then test the unknown. Han Tao set a research strategy, circulate soul power and begin to deliberately impact the first acupoint. Under the guidance of mental power, the soul power successfully enters the acupoint and is stored. It seems acupoints inherit the characteristics of meridians. Obviously so, and it should be so. The 12 meridians and the 8 extraordinary meridians have inherited the characteristics of the meridians, and the acupoints are no exception. Acupoints can be deeply treated and restored, which means an improvement in fault tolerance. Acupoints have the attribute of development and the nature of soul power compatibility. Each acupoint is equivalent to a small cultivation accelerator that can help soul masters condense soul power. but Acupoints are not. Born with soul power compatibility, Han Tao has a bold guess. If this guess is made public, perhaps the history of Douluo continent will be overturned. Soul power compatibility will be inherited by children. An ordinary person, by chance, awakened a level 1 soul power. With his own efforts, he spent 100 years of his life and grew to level 19, because of the attribute of soul power compatibility. It took such a long time, under the influence of weak soul power, to barely raise his innate soul power from level 1 to level 2. This microscopic improvement will be integrated into his blood and his genes, and passed on to the next generation. However, the inherited blood depends on before giving birth. After giving birth, the compatibility you gain through cultivation will not work for your children. After all, this thing does not have quantum entanglement. With the efforts of generation after generation, the innate soul power is improved little by little. The martial soul grows and transforms little by little. One day, they will become a big family, a sect maintained by blood. The 7 treasures glazed sect is like this, and so is the blue lightning Tyrannosaurus sect. Will the Hautian sect be an exception? The meridians are like this, and the acupoints are a field that no one has set foot on. All the acupoints of all soul masters have no soul power compatibility. Is it because all the soul masters before have not cultivated to this stage? Han Tao's eyes flickered with bright stars. At this moment, he is a pioneer. Chapter 63 Soul Power Tank. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the exploration, there are a total of 108 acupoints on the body. When Han Tao felt and impacted the acupoints, he found that many of his acupoints were injured. They were broken into pieces, which was obviously very serious. I didn't expect that such a big consequence would occur. These injuries were caused by shock and compression training, but fortunately, these acupoints were only seriously damaged and not broken. If they were broken, it would not be something Han Tao could save at this stage. After returning to the sect, Han Tao found Yi Lingling. She is the most professional healing tool person, and Han Tao must give her enough respect. Yi Lingling, it's great to see you. Give me a treatment. Without much greeting, Han Tao expressed his needs. According to the direction I pointed out. Han Tao used the blue-silver eye to attach to the periphery of his body to guide the direction of Yi Lingling's healing soul skills, although doing so might allow her to discover the secret of the acupoints, but Han Tao didn't care. How could he not show his health bar when looking for a nanny? Yi Lingling had a cold smile on her face. She agreed to Han Tao's request and released 3 soul skills in sequence. Treatment. Healing. Vitality. After 3 long days, the injuries and the acupoints in the body were completely healed. Han Tao began to explore. As expected, these so-called acupoints are currently completely incompatible with soul power. Acupoints cannot absorb the natural soul power between heaven and earth on their own, but they can accommodate soul power, which will indirectly increase the upper limit of soul power. Just from this point, Han Tao has gained significant benefits. Extra soul power slot. It is the first function of the acupoints, and it is also a very powerful function. Among the 9 absolutes of Hautian, why is the ring explosion so powerful? Because the soul ring is not a soul skill for the Hautian hammer soul master. It is 9 extra soul power slots. Blow up the soul ring, give the soul power in the soul ring to the soul master's body, and strengthen the soul master's fundamental combat power. After the soul ring explodes, what should I do if there is no soul skill? The Hautian sect has inherited soul skills, such as the Chaos Cloak Hammer method, the Great Sumra Hammer, and so on. The Hautian 9 absolutes means 9 soul skills, which correspond to 9 soul rings one by one. Soul rings are soul power slots, and self-created soul skills replace soul skills, which are almost flawless. This is a set of system combat ideas. Thinking of this, Han Tao seemed to understand. Tang Hao didn't care what soul ring Tang San got, and didn't care whether the martial soul origin was compatible. The existence of the secret method of exploding rings led to the Hautian sect having only one priority when selecting soul rings: age. Except for the age, nothing else matters. The age of the soul ring determines the amount of soul power contained in the soul ring, and it is also the soul power increase generated when the ring is exploded. As for the martial soul origin, the martial soul same clan attribute. What is that? The Hautian hammer is already a top martial soul. No matter what kind of soul beast is absorbed, it is difficult to change the strength of the Haotian hammer. Yes, the protagonist who was born with a golden key has unimaginable tolerance. They don't need to be as cautious as Han Tao, carefully select and consider the impact of each soul ring. Acupoints can store soul power, which is an additional soul power slot, but the total upper limit is a bit low. A single acupoint can only hold 1% of soul power, but there are 108 acupoints in the soul master's body, and the soul power slot of all acupoints has exceeded the soul power of the soul master itself. The reality is not that simple. When it comes to the call of soul power, it will inevitably cause loss. To realize the application of soul power slot, you need to store soul power in advance, and then take it out at the critical moment, which means double loss. Although it is troublesome, it is worth it. The future is promising. Han Tao has just explored this field and has not been deeply developed. Acupoints inherit the characteristics of meridians. This means that it can be widened like meridians to increase the total amount of stored soul power. Is it possible to use the idea of chaotic cloaks to increase the speed of cultivation? This conjecture was put forward by Han Tao before he reached level 10, and it has not been verified so far. No, the risk is too great, and the benefits are uncertain. The current cultivation speed is sufficient, there is no need to do those things. Han Tao stopped the research and development of the acupoints. The blue-silver origin is no longer a limitation, and the road to martial soul evolution is unimpeded. The speed of cultivation is no longer an obstacle with the help of the 8 extraordinary meridians and the great circulation. The shackles of level are broken with the improvement of the quality of martial soul and the increase of growth base. Just practice step by step, everything is not a problem. 5 months later, Qibao Liuli sect, the adaptability ability of the blue-silver grass has been brought to the extreme under the effect of the huge origin. Whether it is elements, toxins, or shocks, they all become nutrients for Han Tao's growth. The growth base has been increased from the previous 0.4 to 0.6. The growth base is the feedback of the quality of martial soul. At this moment, Han Tao's blue-silver grass has surpassed Xiao Qinyu's wolf in strength. Guju provides 0.2 additional growth base. This seemingly ordinary soul beast has a great benefit. Counting Guju Han Tao's growth base, it is 0.8, which has surpassed the 7 treasures glazed tower and tied with the top martial spirit. However, while the benefits are significant, problems also arise. Adaptation is not necessarily all positive growth. Survival of the fittest. The evolution of genes is mostly negative growth, with only a very small probability of positive growth. But why is blue-silver grass all positive? Because blue-silver grass is weak enough and has no room for decline, so all are positive, and with the improvement of the quality of the martial soul, this room for decline appears. If you still adapt, it is not necessarily a positive evolution. On the contrary, it may lead to the degeneration of the martial soul. Han Tao kept walking in the room, frowning. The sunshine outside the window is still gorgeous, and the results of his cultivation are still remarkable. However, the road ahead is broken. What should I do? Does the road to the advancement of the martial soul need to stop here? Theoretical research often faces various difficulties. As the owner of the blue-silver grass martial soul, Han Tao knows that 0.6 is not the limit of the blue-silver grass. However, if you want to continue to become stronger, you need to bear the risk of weakening the martial soul. Adapt. There is a way, there must be a way. Han Tao held the diary and thought. He began to look through the data records of the past, trying to find a clue from the dense records. Shock. During the shock training, the growth base was improved. Han Tao's eyes showed a gleam of light. From past experience, he found a direction. A brand new field, an unknown field. Blue-silver grass has room for decline in known fields, such as toxins, such as elements. But there is no room for decline in fields I have never touched. It must be positive evolution. There are results, but Han Tao did not stop there. The evolution of blue-silver grass is gradual. From weak to strong, from inferior to pure, from humble to vast. Perhaps, the high-quality characteristics tend to have a positive impact on blue-silver grass. This is a conclusion based on the phenomenon. there are also differences in strength and quality between elements and toxins. More refined and pure characteristics can point the evolution of blue-silver grass to the positive direction. Han Tao found two methods: one is to explore new adaptation areas, and the other is to adapt with high-quality characteristics. Is it possible? Is there no way to retain the strength of one's own martial spirit, that even with high-quality characteristics, the adaptation to blue-silver grass is only inclined to the positive direction? It is inclined to the positive direction, not absolutely positive. There is still the possibility of degeneration. Chapter 64, Green Phosphorus Toxin. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. 5 months is not just about the increase in the growth base. Han Tao's soul power level has increased from 32 to 36, and his physique attribute has increased from 84 points to 96 points. The growth base of 0.8 and the fourth level of Soul Venerable can increase the attribute by 12.8 points. However, Han Tao's martial soul is not a 0.6 growth base at level 32. So the physique only grows to 96 points. The physique is not the focus is on the improvement of soul power and mental power. The qualitative change of mental power and the perception of penetrating microscopic, under the linkage of physical perception and external perception. Han Tao detected his soul power attribute, soul power, 40, level growth, plus 34, soul ring soul bone, plus 50, acupoint soul power slot. In order to facilitate calculation, Han Tao's definition of soul power and physique data adopts the growth-base principle. Mental power cannot be detected, but according to the calculation rules of the growth base, it should be not much different from the level growth part of soul power. The right leg bone of the blue-silver emperor may be able to increase mental power, but Han Tao has no means of detection and has no way of knowing. Soul power and physique are no longer my shortcomings. For a soul master with a top-level martial soul, the normal soul power data of a level 40 is around 85, and due to the emergence of the acupoint theory and the birth of an additional soul power slot, Han Tao's total soul power has exceeded 100. If you don't look at mental power, the panel data has completely surpassed the level of soul masters. The panel data has no flaws. But the strength of the martial soul is still not as good as that of a high-level martial soul, let alone a top-level martial soul. At this stage, the conditions for the martial soul to evolve again have become extremely harsh. The first option has no clue, and the third option has not yet been discovered. Han Tao can only choose the second option. High-quality characteristic adaptation. Toxin. Toxins are a major adaptation direction of blue-silver grass. Almost all plant martial souls find it difficult to escape the magic circle of toxins. In Douluo continent, high-quality toxins are actually very rare, especially single toxins, which are even rarer. Colorful, and Tang San's Yama Post, are all mixed poisons. It is better to adapt to a single pure toxin one by one, rather than throwing them all at once to strengthen the martial spirit. Mixed toxins have a diversified impact. On the blue-silver grass, it can be recorded, but it is difficult to analyze, let alone summarize. Failure to summarize means that losses cannot be stopped, so Han Tao would not consider mixed toxins at all, and dare not use mixed toxins. So, what toxin should I choose? Among the poisonous soul beasts, the more powerful ones are Green Phosphorus Snake King and Death Spider King. Stinging porpoise is also considered to be highly poisonous. The liver of the porpoise is highly poisonous, and it can be cultivated to the title Douluo, so the quality is not bad. After a long deliberation, Han Tao compared the difficulty, upper limit, and effect. However, he made his own choice. Green Phosphorus Toxin. Chijue Green Phosphorus Flower, a top-grade plant martial spirit, is also a highly poisonous fairy grass. Green Phosphorus Snake King, a top-level poisonous beast martial spirit. These two cases of martial souls represent the upper limit of the Green Phosphorus Toxin. The upper limit of power means the upper limit of quality. Perhaps this sentence is biased, but it can be basically regarded as correct. In Douluo continent, the poison barrier in Sunset Forest is formed by the gas emitted by the Green Phosphorus 7 absolute flowers. The snow swan kiss itself does not carry toxins, it can only enhance the existing toxins. Therefore, whether Han Tao is for the growth of his martial soul or to cross the poison barrier, he cannot escape the so-called Green Phosphorus Toxin. Yi Lingling usually does not speak, and likes to stand quietly aside, watching Han Tao fiddling with his martial soul. she actually felt a little fun for no reason. But whenever Han Tao needs it, she will release the healing soul skills very naturally. Yi Lingling. Thank you for your help these days. This is not the first time that Han Tao expressed his gratitude to her. Then, Han Tao took out Symptoms of Green Phosphorus Snake Martial Soul Poisoning from the bookshelf at the back. It was still the same book, but this time there was no conspiracy. This is a pure gift. Ning Rongrong has taken over the murderous intent of fate. Green Phosphorus Snake, Symptoms of Poisoning. Yi Lingling took the book from Han Tao, looked at the cover, and read it with a little curiosity. She opened the book and compared the knowledge on it. Dugu Yen seems to be the green phosphorus snake martial spirit. According to the theory in the book, she was poisoned, and it was a martial spirit inheritance toxin. Yi Lingling lowered her head and whispered. Yes. You know, I have been studying pharmacology these days, and I have gained something. Learning is not without results. Knowledge will be reflected in all aspects of daily life. Years ago, Yang Wudi did not come. Han Tao only knew that Dugu Bo and Dugu Yen were poisoned, but he did not understand why, how to resolve it, and how to use it. Pharmacology gave the answer. Green phosphorus snake is a high-level martial spirit, which is inherently toxic. The core reason why green phosphorus snake martial spirits are poisoned is that their original toxicity is not enough. When external toxins overwhelm one's own original poison, it naturally becomes impossible to resolve. Dugu Bo is right, but also wrong. Absorbing toxins is indeed the path to advancement of the green phosphorus snake martial soul. But the poison of the outer sect overwhelms the poison of the natal spirit, which means the wrong direction of advancement. Is it Han Tao's gain to find a wrong path? Yes. Of course. As the saying goes, correct it if there is any, and encourage it if there is none. The current evolutionary direction of the blue-silver grass and the future evolutionary direction are not necessarily correct. It is just based on the current situation. Adaptation is not wrong in a narrow field. Han Tao does not think he is superior to others. Give me this book. Do you want me to save Dugu Yen? Yi Lingling stared at Han Tao with her eyes, motionless, like a frozen picture of a camera. She is always like this. Han Tao has gotten used to it. Dugu Yen is your best friend. As a healing soul master, shouldn't you save her? She nodded, should. But I only know how to treat, not detoxify. Yi Lingling's expression was a little innocent. It seemed that Han Tao was making things difficult for himself. Isn't detoxification part of the treatment? Isn't purification also part of the treatment? Han Tao's question made Yi Lingling's face stiffen. It's not that she hadn't thought about this aspect, nor was it that her cognition was narrow, but because research requires money, a lot of money. Without the financial resources of the Seven Treasures Glazed sect, ordinary soul masters would never be involved in this aspect. Yeah. She didn't refute Han Tao, and responded faintly. Han Tao once told her that treatment should not only have depth, but also breadth. This has benefited her a lot. A few days ago, she has been working towards the microscopic direction and can already treat the meridians. Yi Lingling is very hardworking, and she has been studying her martial soul. The Seven Treasures Glazed sect has a lot of pharmacology books recently. You can take some time to read them. Nine-Hearted Begonia is also considered half a plant martial soul, and studying pharmacology is profitable. Yi Lingling's reading is not purposeful, so you just need to put the book in front of her, and she will naturally read it. Chapter 65 Detoxification. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. A woman wearing a green dress, purple hair, and a voluptuous figure was walking towards him. Dugu Yen, a level 40 soul sect, Yi Lingling's best friend. I heard that you can solve my problem. She faced Han Tao, who was the real owner introduced by Yi Lingling. The two people were talking in the Qibao Glazed sect. Han Tao didn't dare to leave the clan to find her. In the Sunset Forest, Sword Bone Douluo's attitude towards Poison Douluo was not very friendly. Yes. Han Tao nodded. Tell me. A trace of curiosity flashed in Dugu Yan's eyes. She was surprised at Han Tao's youth. Spirit masters who understand toxins are usually older. The soul ring contains the toxins of the soul beast, and these toxins have infected your body. This is just a very superficial view. The soul ring is the accumulation of the soul beast's lifetime cultivation, including soul power, origin, and toxins. A slight poison cannot shake a powerful martial spirit. Han Tao casually took out a piece of martial arts research data and handed it to Douluo to support his remarks. You need to be responsible for your own words, because the two have just come into contact and lack trust. The support of this kind of data is very important. Douluo took it. I looked at it twice and said I didn't understand, but she felt that Han Tao should be very professional, without stopping his movements. Han Tao continued to add. But biphosphotoxin is different. Biotoxin is an extremely strong toxin that conflicts with almost any medicinal properties. He took out a detailed explanation of pharmacology again and handed it to Douluo. It contains sections on pharmacological conflicts, which can support your remarks. Douluo pushed away the note, believing Han Tao's words. So what should I do to resolve the toxicity in my body? Han Tao did not answer directly, but shook his head. After thinking for a long time, he asked. A little presumptuously, can I ask you a question? Douluo responded instinctively, say. Grandpa, have you ever eaten fairy grass? Douluo was silent. This question is a bit presumptuous, but Han Tao still wants to know. The silence at this moment has answered Han Tao's question. It also confirmed his guess. There are so many fairy grasses in the eyes of ice and fire in Sunset Forest. Han Tao didn't believe it, and Douluo didn't try to eat one. The Chijue jade phosphorus flower should be his choice. With the help of the fairy grass, Douluo's martial spirit successfully evolved and transformed into the jade phosphorus snake king. This is where it ends, but human greed never ends. Poison Douluo acted like a coward and ate the second fairy grass. The conflict between the medicinal properties of the fairy grass has officially started. Even a powerful title Douluo cannot suppress this conflict. Ning Rongrong was like this, so was Douluo, and Tang San was no exception. Why? Han Tao sighed. Seeing Han Tao's sigh, Douluo suddenly became anxious. Can I still be saved? Han Tao nodded and said. You're fine. I have dozens of ways to help you suppress the toxicity. Douluo is fine, but Douluo is in trouble. The conflict of medicinal properties between jelly grass is not so easy to resolve. The simplest method, which is also the fundamental solution, is to absorb the spirit ring of biphosphotoxin when breaking through. 7-color jade phosphorus flower, 3-color jade phosphorus flower, jade phosphorus snake, and so on, strengthening the origin. Judging from the bulk, there is nothing wrong. It's just that without understanding the essence of the martial spirit cannot transform and advance. I know this. Douluo responded. Origin strengthening chemistry has not yet become popular among low-level soul masters, but for title Douluo, it's not really a secret. Then why did you choose other poisonous soul rings? Han Tao was extremely curious. Now that you know the route, why do you still make mistakes? Some time ago, Grandpa took me to visit the master. The master told me that toxins should be diversified, and soul rings should also be chosen in this way. Mixed toxins are more lethal than a single toxin. In response, Han Tao smiled awkwardly. Yu Xiaojiang really deserves to be a master, and he actually understands the cutting-edge theories of pharmacology. What the Broken Clan is best at is mixing toxins. Perhaps Yang Wushuang, who came into contact with the Broken Clan through his relationship with Wuhuan Palace, came to this statement. The combination of soul skills and the pursuit of early combat power are the master's lifelong pursuit, but hasn't he thought about it? Is biphosin compatible with other toxins? Absorbing soul rings will affect the soul master's body. You take other people's bodies and refining mixed toxins. Biotoxin is an exception. It has the potential to be extremely toxic and does not need to be compatible with other toxins. Hearing what Han Tao said, Douluo was a little surprised. The theories of Han Tao and Yu Xiaojiang conflicted for the first time. Can you tell me why you didn't choose to mix toxins? Han Tao thought carefully before answering. If you are a master of pharmacology and have the skills to prepare conflicts between medicinal materials, then you can naturally make mixed toxins. Oh, no, conventional medicinal materials are not enough. It has to be the extremely poisonous fairy grass. Han Tao did not make a conclusion. Han Tao knew that someone might be able to do what he couldn't do, but this person is definitely not Yu Xiaojiang. The conflict between the immortal herbs was irreconcilable in his opinion before, but Acacia Heartbroken Red broke this rule. Yen thought calmly for a long time. She saw a conclusion from Han Tao's eyes. You are a noob, you are not worthy of playing with mixed toxins. You can't even study pure toxins, and you are still mixing toxins. Do you know how to play? You have to do a few things now. Find a way to strengthen your physique. The stronger your physique, the stronger your resistance to toxins. This is a means in the general direction and will not go wrong. Treatment, find Yi Lingling for treatment more often. The accumulation of toxins has a process, and the accumulation of injuries also has a process. Treatment can restore injuries, but it cannot transfer toxins. The diagnosis plan given by Han Tao, he did not point fingers at Yan's future. The future of soul masters is dominated by themselves, and others have no right to interfere. You can go pure if you like, and you can go mixed if you like. It has nothing to do with me, but no matter which route you take, you need physique and treatment. Yeah. Yen nodded. She sat elegantly, showing off her charming figure, but the green clothes were too eye-catching. This aesthetic was just like the Shrek team costumes designed by Dean Flanders. So, what kind of reward do you want? That she asked curiously with a puzzled look on her face. Han Tao waved his hand. Don't be so realistic. I help you diagnose. Can't it be to thank Yi Lingling? Hee hee. Yen laughed. It's really interesting. I don't know who you are. Doesn't Yi Lingling know it? Only interests matter. Who can be more realistic than you? Long before Yen arrived, the two had secretly communicated. Maybe, they talked very openly. Han Tao also laughed. You are really good at judging people. He didn't hide anything and accurately stated his needs. By Phosphorus Toxin. I only need by Phosphorus Toxin, pure by Phosphorus Toxin. Yen heard Han Tao's words, and it was exactly as she expected. No wonder you want me to take the pure route. Only by aligning the interests of others with your own interests can you achieve your strategic goals. Chapter 66 Wrong Route. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Han Tao received a return gift from Yen, a bottle of toxin taken from the green phosphorus snake king, with sufficient strength. However, it is not pure, but it doesn't matter. Han Tao has studied pure pharmacology and knows how to pick out the part he wants from the chaotic medicine, sedimentation and stratification, boil and distill. Soon, a bottle of extremely high concentration of green phosphorus poison was made by Han Tao. The medicine is dark green, like the eyes of a wolf in the middle of the night. A trace of rhythm is disillusioned up and down in the medicine, implying the murderous intent of devouring people. Not bad, perfect finished product. Han Tao wore a pair of white gloves with a built-in antitoxic layer of cloth in the gloves, which can slow down the corrosiveness of the green phosphorus toxin. This pair of gloves is worth a lot of money, but it still can't resist the pure green phosphorus poison. Dilute the toxin. Han Tao made a decision, and he dripped the green phosphorus toxin into different test tubes, 100 times, 80 times, and 50 times dilution. Then he began to summon his martial soul. Martial soul, blue silver grass. Blue silver grass emerged from Han Tao's palm. Compared to before, the blue silver grass at this time is more resilient, and its vitality, adaptability, and martial soul strength are far beyond the past. Diluted 100 times, I don't know if it can withstand it. Han Tao dripped a very tiny bit of green phosphorus poison on his martial soul. The green phosphorus poison is very strong, but if it is diluted 100 times, it will be nothing. Sensing his martial soul, there is no change. The weak poison can't even cause the slightest injury. It seems that I am too cautious. Han Tao took out the reagent again and poured the 80-fold diluted green phosphorus poison on the blue silver grass. Still no reaction. The blue silver grass is no longer the blue silver grass before. The strength has changed qualitatively, and the overly diluted medicine cannot cause damage to it. Step by step, test by step, Han Tao is not in a hurry. Finally, when the green phosphorus poison was diluted only 7 times, it caused damage to the blue silver grass for the first time. Han Tao quickly mobilized his mental power and began to detect his martial soul. Third soul skill, blue silver eye. The double intersection of perceptions made Han Tao aware of the changes in his martial soul. Poison resistance increased, activity increased, and hardness decreased. Growth is accompanied by attenuation, and adaptation itself is like this. If the increase in poison resistance is removed, adaptation will not be improved for blue silvergrass, but with the increase in poison resistance, the situation will change, because the increase in poison resistance will lead to the increase in the resistance of blue silvergrass to green phosphorus toxin. Then, a higher concentration of toxins can be used. Higher concentration means higher quality, which means that the result tends to be positive. It seems that I made the right choice. The core of green phosphorus toxin is corrosion, which is a neurotoxin. The vitality of blue silvergrass gradually withered under the corrosion of green phosphorus toxin, and under Yi Lingling's treatment, it gradually recovered. One leaf falls, one leaf blooms. Han Tao thought of the secret method called falling red shown by Yi Junlan, but the meaning is the same, the principle is different. After several twists and turns, the benefits are weak. The 100,000-year-old blue-silver emperor's right leg bone provides a huge martial soul origin. The origin is the foundation of strengthening the martial soul, and it is the foundation of everything. Soon, the toxin resistance is greatly improved in a short period of time. The blue-silver grass has adapted to the green phosphorus toxin. It is not completely adapted, but the extreme that can be adapted under the current situation. Dugu Yan can only provide the toxin of the green phosphorus snake emperor, which is not low in strength, however, compared with the toxins in the center of the sunset forest that are strengthened by the kiss of the snow swan, or the poison of the fairy grass such as the 7 absolute green phosphorus flower. Han Tao is still far behind. If you want the martial soul to evolve again, these are far from enough. Thinking of this, Han Tao sighed. In the sunset forest, the quality of the green phosphorus poison in the inner circle of the poison barrier is definitely high enough to make his blue-silver grass change positively. However, Han Tao cannot go deeper, although the toxins in the periphery can no longer pose a threat to his martial soul. But the spirit is the spirit, and the body is the body. The spirit can withstand the green phosphorus toxin, but the body cannot withstand the corrosion of green phosphorus. Hey, let's put it aside for now. The road to the evolution of the spirit is far away. Seeing that things were impossible, Han Tao immediately gave up the idea. Chibaoyoli sect. Outside the library. 24 points. The elder guarding the hall reported Han Tao's results. Han Tao did not pass. With Han Tao's level, it is impossible to fail, so there is only one possibility. Han Tao wants to enter the small black room again. A more accurate term is the enlightenment room. The unique environment there can make soul masters think more clearly. According to the process, Han Tao, led by the elder guarding the hall, went to the small black room. Ha! The guards made a sound of surprise. You didn't pass. Han Tao nodded with a smile. I have indeed been a little careless in theory recently. It's quite surprising. Ning Tian passed, but I didn't expect you didn't pass. He took out the key, fumbled around, and pushed open the door of the small dark room. Hey! The guard sighed and extended his hand to guide. Go in. Inside the small dark room, the window was wide open. The light passed through the lush Ningxian tree, and carved a colorful reflection on the precious desk. Han Tao's eyes swept through the window and stopped at this tree, the concentration tree, a very expensive category. Ning Fengji's concentration tea used to entertain guests comes from the fruit of this tree. So damn rich. Han Tao secretly sighed. Money is not omnipotent, but once you have a need, you can't do it without money. Researching pharmacology requires money, and recruiting the Pei clan requires money. Recruiting Zhao Wuji and lifting the wanted order of the Spirit Hall also requires money. Whale glue costs money, and weapons cost money. Walk forward and draw down the curtains. Inside the small black room, it was pitch black and silent. The last time Han Tao was enlightened in the small black room, he realized the essence of the blue-silver grass, adaptation. This time, Han Tao entered the small black room again. His purpose was to refute the last enlightenment. Adaptation may not be the essence of the blue-silver grass. Adaptation has helped me a lot in the early evolution of blue-silver grass. But now, there is an upper limit to adaptation, and I can't break this upper limit now. When the upper limit is damaged, people will start to have wild thoughts. This is exactly when inspiration is active. Han Tao took advantage of this opportunity to come to the sex enlightenment place and began to rethink the nature of blue-silver grass. So, what is the true nature of blue-silver grass? Blue-silver grass is born with strong perception. But the so-called adaptation does not need the help of perception. Perception is an extremely important ability. The increase of the 7 treasures glazed tower and the treatment of the 9-heart begonia can greatly increase the evolution speed of blue-silver grass. These details are all proved. Adaptation is the essence of blue-silver grass and is the right path. Am I really thinking too much, that the path of the green phosphorus snake king went wrong, giving Han Tao a major warning? Douluo was wrong, so why am I right? Han Tao does not think he is superior to others, nor does he think he has the so-called luck blessing. Question yourself, question the path, and you will see your true self. Maybe I can start with the puzzle. Chapter 67, The Road to the Blue-Silver King. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The last time Han Tao came out of the small dark room, he relied on news about the fairy grass. To be more precise, it is the message of Chiloa Tulip. Chiloa Tulip can evolve the 7 treasures glazed pagoda into the 9 treasures glazed pagoda. Last time, Han Tao only paid attention to a certain function of Chiloa Tulip. Suppress the combat power of plant-like soul beasts. Han Tao originally wanted to hunt down the Blue-Silver King and had already made corresponding plans. Therefore, he once only considered this part of the function of Chiloa Tulip. However, Chiloa Tulip's abilities are not limited to this. Distinguish the characteristics of all heaven and earth spiritual beings, command the heaven and earth spiritual beings, and possess all taste-related abilities. What is the essence of Qibao glazed pagoda? Identification, analysis. Let's use these terms to explain. Distinguishing the characteristics of spiritual objects in the world is in line with the essence of the 7 treasures glazed pagoda, so it is not surprising that it can evolve into the 9 treasures glazed pagoda. So how to explain the command to the spiritual beings in the world? Han Tao huddled in a dark corner, forgetting the passage of time. He was thinking non-stop. Puzzle. Inspiration rises unconsciously. At a certain moment, Han Tao's mind cleared, and all the causes and effects were connected in series. The missing puzzle piece of the 7 treasures glazed tower is also the core of the Blue-Silver King. Blue-Silver King is the orthodox advancement of blue-silver grass, and Han Tao cannot escape from this part no matter what. Mimicry practice is the prototype of the blue-silver field. While practicing mimicry, Han Tao can contact the surrounding blue-silver grass, perceive the perception of blue-silver grass and realize the inner nature of blue-silver grass. The blue-silver grass that commands many people is itself the authority of the Blue-Silver King. Chiloa Tulip strengthens the essence of the 7 treasures glazed tower and at the same time completes the puzzle of the Blue-Silver King, so it evolved and transformed into the 9 treasures glazed pagoda. Adaptation is the essence of blue-silver grass. However, this is not the essence of the Blue-Silver King. The essence of the Blue-Silver King is to command all the blue-silver grass. No, you can't be so narrow-minded. Han Tao rejected his idea again. The evolution of martial souls begins at a young age. Adapt to changes and learn everything. I see. He walked to the window and opened the curtains. A ray of sunlight penetrated the darkness and shone on Han Tao's face. Han Tao was smiling, and he was smiling brightly. This is the smile that comes from the heart after understanding the true origin. Adapt /div. The biggest limitation has never been the damage to the upper limit, but the instability of the evolutionary direction. Affected by external forces, blue-silver grass may evolve or degenerate. When the blue-silver grass has advanced to a certain level and there is room for decline, it will be difficult to use adaptation to increase the strength of the martial spirit. The growth base of 0.5 and 0.6 is already the limit of blue-silver grass. However, when Han Tao further understood the essence of Blue-Silver King's martial spirit, the situation is completely different. The essence of the Blue-Silver King is to command, control, and interact with other blue-silver grasses. Being able to communicate with other blue-silver grass may seem useless, but in fact, this is such an incredible ability. Han Tao can command other blue-silver grass to actively adapt and evolve. After adapting, blue-silver grass will evolve into thousands of evolutionary directions, creating endless possibilities. Some have positive returns and some have negative returns, some are as hard as iron, and some are extremely poisonous and bite the bones. The blue-silver king, who is in charge of everything, only needs to stand high and observe the constant changes of all the blue-silver grass. When other blue-silver grasses develop excellent characteristics, blue-silver king can perceive, clearly, and understand these adaptive changes through interactions during mimicry practice. Perception is so important. Through perception, blue-silver king can select the positive factors inside, use the same adaptation method, and the same adaptation means to copy the excellent characteristics to yourself. It's also blue-silver grass. The traits you can evolve, I can naturally evolve too. With the aggregation of thousands of excellent qualities, the road to becoming the king of blue-silver grass is naturally formed. Han Tao had learned about certain topics in his previous life. Suddenly, in Han Tao's heart, a brilliant idea was born. Carry out targeted cultivation of blue-silver grass and evolve all blue-silver grass into fairy grass. Botany includes the content of directional cultivation. Through specific techniques, plants are guided to evolve in a certain direction, for example, phototaxis, geotropism, and tactility. Han Tao did not dare to carry out targeted cultivation of his blue-silver grass, but if you are cultivating other blue-silver grass, there is no risk. Han Tao not only dares to do so, but he is also very courageous. Then, I summarize all the high-quality properties of the fairy grass into myself. From now on, my martial spirit is no longer the king of blue-silver, but the king of all immortals. Now, the road to becoming the king of blue-silver grass unfolds magnificently. The strength of a martial spirit has never depended on innateness, but on your understanding of it. The world of Douluo continent has never stifled true genius. Bang! That the door to the small dark room slowly opened. Ning Fengji walked in. Why did you give up? That he took a chair and sat down at the desk. Master, why are you here? Han Tao raised his head slightly doubtfully. I heard that my good disciple failed the theoretical test this time, so I came to see him. Well, you have made significant progress. Ning Fengji's eyes were a little deep, as if hiding some emotions. You know me, these theories can't stump me. This time I came to the enlightenment room mainly to think about something. Han Tao narrated calmly. Oh. Ning Fengji showed a puzzled expression. I immediately continued to add. Then have you come up with a conclusion? Han Tao laughed, obviously realizing the true meaning of the martial soul, which made him very happy. Well, it's clear. The evolution of the martial soul and the path of self-growth have no obstacles. The road ahead is smooth. Good. Ning Fengji also laughed. Since you have chosen your own path, you must go on unswervingly. If you have any needs, such as money, resources, etc., you can tell me. The Seven Treasures Glazed sect has plenty of money. Compared to wealth, the theory given by Han Tao is more valuable. Whether it is Yang Wudi's pharmacology or Zhao Wuji's shock, they have brought him a great impact. Han Tao nodded. To be honest, I really have some needs. I need a place to grow crops, preferably a place that can accelerate plant growth. Blue-silver grass needs to be cultivated in a targeted manner. The environment that accelerates plant growth is indispensable and is the core of the core. In fact, the best location is the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, where the natural environment and magnetic field can make plants evolve thousands of times. Yin-yang eye of ice and fire. Ning Fengji said the place Han Tao wanted to go the most. By the way, this place is what you told me. This is a good place for plants to grow extremely fast. Han Tao shook his head and sighed. But the sunset forest has been surrounded by poison barriers, and I can't get there. Ning Fengji smiled slightly, revealing a mysterious expression. Chapter 68 The Poison Attribute of Blue-Silver Grass. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. You should have met Duguyen a few days ago. Han Tao nodded. This was not a secret. Ning Fengji did not embarrass Han Tao. This was not a big deal, he continued to add. The poison barrier formed by the green phosphorus toxin can corrode the martial soul, corrode the soul power, and corrode the body, but it will not corrode the same green phosphorus poison barrier. This is nonsense. There is nothing to explain. Some of the soul skills in the soul ring can generate pure green phosphorus poison barriers. The poison barrier generated by one's own soul skills will not corrode the soul master's body. Obviously, soul skills will not harm the soul master's body, otherwise, the poison attribute soul master will not play. Before attacking the enemy, he will be poisoned, like Douluo, who can poison himself to the internal organs, is also considered a half-genius. Then, Ning Fengji stated his purpose. You can choose a soul ring of the 7 absolutes of the green phosphorus flower to obtain a soul skill of the poison barrier type. Use this soul skill to pass through the poison barrier and reach the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. Hearing this, Han Tao's thoughts flew. Ning Fengji's face did not show any sadness. The master has been learning happiness and anger do not show on the face, but he has never been good at it, and all the expressions are written on his face. He is the same as Ning Rongrong in this respect. Han Tao can judge with a high probability that Ning Rongrong should be fine. But how can I ensure that the soul skill I get is a poison barrier, that it is a false proposition that subjectivity can affect the generation of soul skills? Until now, Han Tao has not been able to prove this theory. Even his first soul ring and third soul ring are soul skills generated according to subjectivity. But what if it is probability? If you regard continuous low probability events as truth, you will suffer a great loss in the future. I think you have also discovered that the 9-hearted begonia and the 7 treasure glazed tower are fixed soul skills when they are obtained. As one of the puzzle pieces, the blue-silver grass also has its own positive sequence soul skills. Ning Fengji took out a decent gift. He took out a book from the right side of his robe, titled Special Martial Soul Inherited Soul Skills. The first soul skill, blue-silver entanglement. The second soul skill, blue-silver parasitism. Han Tao looked at the book. His heart was extremely silent. Tang San's first 2 soul skills were actually the standard answers for inheriting martial souls, but starting from the 3rd soul ring, the situation changed. I think the master should have read this book. The information of the spirit hall is open to the master, so it is not surprising that Yu Shaojiang can see this book. Han Tao turned to the 4th page, which recorded the corresponding soul skills and how to obtain them. The 4th soul skill, blue-silver poison barrier. Blue-silver soul power, build a special poison barrier to kill the enemy. The toxin of the poison barrier is related to the soul beast hunted. If you want to obtain the poison barrier of green phosphorus toxin, you can only choose between green phosphorus flower, 3-color green phosphorus flower, green phosphorus snake, and green phosphorus snake king. The age limit is controlled in the range of 3100-3600. According to the growth base of the blue-silver king, this age limit is almost reasonable. Han Tao continued to turn a few pages and then closed the book. Poison attribute line. Wrong line, but it is systematic. The author of this book did not understand the adaptive nature of blue-silver grass, but the role of adaptation still exists. Adaptation will not stop working just because you don't know or understand it. The soul ring is the condensation of the soul beast's life cultivation. When the soul master absorbs the soul ring, it is equivalent to absorbing the origin of the soul beast, and the blue-silver grass will naturally evolve in the direction of toxins by absorbing the soul ring with toxins again and again. It's putting the cart before the horse, but it's also desirable, because if you practice according to the contents of this book, that there are no flaws in the evolution of martial souls, combat capabilities, and panel values, so Han Tao evaluated it as a systematized 1. If you practice to the extreme, you will be close to the strength of the 7 absolutes green phosphorus flower and the wonderful Rong Tong Tian chrysanthemum, but it is impossible to surpass the fairy grass, let alone become the king of fairy grass. It's a good reference. Han Tao nodded and did not throw the book away. The poison route is one of the growth directions that the blue-silver grass adapts to. Maybe when I am doing targeted cultivation, I can refer to this book and cultivate a poisonous king. How? Seeing Han Tao close the book, but showing a satisfied look, Ning Fengji asked curiously. Very good idea. The poison attribute, as the core of the blue-silver grass, constructs a growth system. Unfortunately, my first, second, and third soul rings are not poison attributes, so I may not be able to take this path. With regret, Han Tao still rejected Ning Fengji's proposal. Then I can't help you. Ning Fengji spread his hands, a little helpless. How about this, you can withdraw some money from the sect and use it for your research. Han Tao's eyes lit up, this is a good suggestion. It's so damn good, with money you can have everything. Okay. Han Tao stood up suddenly, his face shining. But Ning Fengji was a little hesitant at this moment. Let me make it clear first, you can't use the money to buy whale glue, apply for membership in a foot massage parlor, hotel VIP, etc. Or anything else with entertainment nature. Ning Fengji was a little scared. Some time ago, he approved a research fund for Mr. Wulong. Guess where he spent the money? All of it was donated to the fallen girl. Yes. Han Tao agreed quickly, the small dark room can only be used to lock up those powerless sect disciples, the elder guarding the hall can bring Ning Tian out, and Jian Gu Douluo will bring Ning Rongrong out. Similarly, the sect master can also bring Han Tao out. Han Tao was brought out for any reason, and ordinary sect disciples are not worthy of participating in the assessment of the auxiliary study list. The only unlucky person who was really locked up was Xifeng, so Xifeng's grades are qualified, and they must be qualified. If you want to infiltrate the Seven Treasures glazed sect, how can you realize your plan by staying in the small dark room all day long? After Han Tao came out, he did not pay attention to Ning Tian and Xifeng, but started his own new evolutionary path, directed cultivation, perception adaptation, convergent evolution. Han Tao first withdrew a large sum of money from his master, then he marked out a piece of land in the back mountain of the sect as a blue-silver grass cultivation base. Buy 3,700-year-old blue-silver grasses and start your own targeted cultivation plan. There are still too few hundred-year-old blue-silver grasses on the market. It's not that there are few blue-silver grasses, but that no one catches this thing. It has no medical value, no medicinal value, and no soul ring value. No one has ever thought about cultivating blue-silver grass. Han Tao divided these 100-year-old blue-silver grasses into two areas and carried out different evolutionary strategies. The cultivation goals are divided into two directions. One is the 7 absolutes green phosphorus flower, the representative of the ultimate poison. One is the fragrant Qi Luo fairy product, the nemesis of all poisons. It is simply a fantasy to cultivate blue-silver grass into fairy grass. Without a specific growth environment and a specific natural magnetic field, it is impossible to give birth to fairy grass, but at least, Han Tao is working towards this direction. Targeted cultivation. What is directional? Toughness and hardness are unimportant attributes and are sacrificial traits. Only poison is needed to give birth to highly toxic or restrain highly toxic. Chapter 69 4 Poisonous Blue-Silver Grass. You are listening at novelfold.audio. A month later, all 30 blue-silver grasses died. The ideal future is so beautiful, and the reality is so tragic. The strength of the 100-year-old blue-silver grass is too low. It caused the blue-silver grass to be unable to accept the energy level of the toxin, and it withered beyond the adaptation limit. Even if I provided additional blue-silver essence. Failed. Han Tao did not feel regretful. This path is correct, because he has achieved a tiny result, the sacrifice of 300-year-old blue-silver grasses in exchange for 2 evolutionary branches of blue-silver grass. Using the highly toxic blood sandalwood flower as a medicine can enhance the vitality and tolerance of blue-silver grass. The green phosphorus toxin can increase the toxicity resistance of blue-silver grass, the second evolutionary branch. Han Tao has verified on his own. Martial soul, repeated verification on other blue-silver grasses can enhance the accuracy of the data. Do you need to adapt the evolutionary branch of blood sandalwood flower to your martial soul? That the top-level mimicry training can receive information from other blue-silver grasses, including their adaptive changes. Using the same adaptive means, the excellent characteristics of positive evolution can be copied. No hurry, let's see. The short-term positive does not mean the long-term positive. The development direction of the blood sandalwood flower in the later stage is uncertain. What if it is the opposite? Blindly copying will bring bad consequences. When it comes to martial spirits, we must be cautious after all, at this moment. Sample quantity and growth rate have become the 2 major limitations of Han Tao's research. The blue-silver origin is no longer a limitation of Han Tao. but as the research deepens, new problems will arise. The strength of the blue-silver grass is not enough, which makes the sample easy to die. How to withstand higher energy levels? There are also two options. The first is to find a soul master of the 7 treasures glazed tower to increase it, the second is to use the 1000-year blue-silver grass as a sample. If there is a sufficient amount of blue-silver grass, if there is a blue-silver grass of sufficient strength that the tolerance of the 100-year blue-silver grass and the 1000-year blue-silver grass is completely different, and tolerance means the energy level that can accept toxins. Growth rate can actually be improved. The right environment can make the blue-silver grass grow thousands of times, but in this way, the problem is back to the starting point. How to enter the yin-yang eye of ice and fire has become Han Tao's current bottleneck. In addition, the 7-star begonia is the puzzle of the blue-silver king, and the secret method falling red of the Yi Lingling family has the effect of fertilizer. Is this fertility also the key to the growth of blue-silver grass? No wonder. Han Tao sighed involuntarily. The 7 treasures glazed tower and the 7-star begonia are comprehensive for the increase of the blue-silver king. Even if it is just a research, they need their assistance. The defects of the data sample can be started from the next soul ring. The soul skill is to simulate various forms of attacks with blue-silver grass. Select a soul ring and summon a blue-silver grass simulated by pure soul power. It shouldn't be difficult. Han Tao is not sure whether the soul ring can do this. If it can be done, it will be much more convenient, which will greatly reduce his own scientific research costs. Thinking a little far. Return to the current perspective. It's time to start the second phase of the cultivation plan. The 7 treasures glazed sect is rich, and wealth is the basis for research. Han Tao went to the market and bought 6,100-year-old blue-silver grasses, starting his second phase of cultivation. This time, Han Tao also chose the toxin route, adapting to the toxin route based on the fixed soul ring configuration of the blue-silver grass. Try Tang San's development strategy first. Han Tao began to adapt and evolve the blue-silver grass according to Tang San's soul ring configuration: mandrake snake, ghost vine, human-faced demon spider, crypt demon spider. These 4 toxins can be compatible. However, for is already the limit. Han Tao tried his best, but he couldn't apply the 5th toxin. For poison blue-silver grass, the strength is between 0.5 to 0.6, belonging to the middle and low-level martial spirit. Only a little weaker than my blue-silver grass. Take out the special martial spirit inheritance soul skills given by Ning Fengji, according to the toxin items listed above. Adapt one by one: mandrake snake toxin, ghost snake toxin, viper toxin, green phosphorus snake toxin. The ghost snake is the companion soul beast of the ghost vine, and its toxins are of the same origin as the ghost vine. These 4 toxins have one similarity, that is, they all use snakes as their evolutionary trend. The first 3 toxins were all successful, and then they all exploded at the place of the green phosphorus toxin. Without exception. This is not as far as Tang San has gone. Why can't the road in the book be extended? That this is a question worth thinking about. If this problem is solved, Dugu Yan's mixed toxin idea may really be able to go on. Green phosphorus toxin is an extremely domineering toxin, not compatible with other toxins. Seeing this, Han Tao undoubtedly had a headache. This is the content of mixed toxicology again. And Han Tao can be said to have understood 6 of the 7 orifices of mixed subjects, not understanding anything, but it doesn't matter. I don't understand, but others can understand. So, Han Tao found Yang Wudi. Arriving at the pharmacy, he knocked on the door gently and walked in. Han Tao. You came at the right time. Yang Wudi smiled when he saw the person coming. The smile looked particularly hideous on his extremely ugly face, and Han Tao took half a step back. Do you remember the whale glue you gave me last time? Han Tao nodded. Whale glue is essentially prepared for absorbing soul bones, although it was not used. I found a unique absorption method. Yang Wudi was in high spirits, sharing his achievements. He couldn't hide the secrets. Whale glue is essentially an aphrodisiac, but it also has the effect of strengthening the body. In theory, if you only need to castrate the soul master, the side effects of whale glue will be strengthened, but at the same time, the soul master can fully absorb and strengthen the body. Han Tao was stunned. What kind of sunflower cultivation method is this? Shaking his head, Han Tao refused. No, absolutely not. Yang Wudi was not surprised. He gave Han Tao a second plan. In fact, I had expected that you would not accept this method, so I have a second-level strategy. Blocking poison can block the lower 3 roads of the Soul Master in a short time. While speaking, he took out 2 porcelain bottles. This is poison, and this is the antidote. After blocking the lower 3 roads, you can maximize the absorption of the medicinal power of whale glue. When you need it, you can use the antidote to remove it. People always compromise. If he directly proposed the second plan, Han Tao might not agree, but if he first gave the option of castration and then made the second proposal, perhaps he could achieve his goal. Whether Han Tao agreed or not did not depend on him, but on his physical needs. I came here this time for something else. Han Tao did not agree immediately, but he stated his needs. I want to know the content of the mixed toxin. Yang Wudi was surprised and a little surprised. He solemnly stretched out his hands, pressed Han Tao's shoulders, and warned him earnestly. Don't think about studying mixed pharmacology. No spiritual perception means no spiritual perception, even if Jesus comes. In this subject, talent is far more important than hard work. Chapter 70 Red Spider Lily. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No, I just want to ask. Why can't the green phosphorus toxin be fused with the other 3 toxins? Han Tao took out the special martial soul inherited soul skills and handed it to Yang Wudi. In fact, in essence, this book cannot be shown to Yang Wudi, but Han Tao doesn't care so much. According to Yang Wudi's contribution, what impact does it have on him to read an unimportant book? This is not a secret method of the sect. Yang Wudi took the book and looked at it carefully. Mandragora toxin, a very superficial type of toxin, can actually be fused with viper venom. He looked up and stared, asking Han Tao. Have you ever heard of a plant called manjasaka? Hearing this, Han Tao thought for a moment. Manjasaka has a famous nickname, the other shore flower. According to ancient legends, the side of the Wangchuan River is full of other shore flowers. Man Sha Zhuhua, the ultimate poison, one of the immortal herbs. Use the venom of the mandrake snake as the main body, and use the ghost vine to communicate with the netherworld. Fuse and extract the pure ultimate poison. Yes, the poison of the green phosphorus is extremely overbearing, but how can the poison of Man Sha Zhuhua be weaker? Yang Wudi whispered. He was also thinking, why can these 2 overbearing poisons be fused? There seems to be no answer. For a long time, he sighed helplessly. Han Tao, I may not be able to help you. But I can tell you that there should be a balance point between Man Sha Zhuhua and Qijue Bailan. Because of this balance point, the 2 ultimate toxins are so coordinated, but I have no way of knowing where this balance point is, so I can't answer your question. Yang Wudi's attitude is very sincere. He admitted his shortcomings and his lack of theoretical knowledge. This may be the difference between him and Yu Shaojiang. Thank you, Patriarch Yang. Han Tao respects Yang Wudi. Clan leader Yang is not good-looking, but he is quite honest. I thank him for his answer, even though he didn't completely answer my question, but it's not completely fruitless. The extreme poisons can be integrated through a certain balance point, which is a knowledge point. Han Tao recorded it in his notebook. Perhaps, the blue-silver grass composed of Man Sha Zhuhua and Qijue Bailan is not inferior to the fairy grass martial soul itself. But such strength does not depend on the blue-silver grass, that it does not depend on the blue-silver emperor, chaos blue-silver emperor, gold and silver dragon blue-silver emperor, 5 elements blue-silver emperor. Are very strong, so strong that they break through the sky, but these martial souls did not become powerful because of the blue-silver emperor. It is because of the external attributes of chaos and gold and silver dragon king that make the martial souls powerful, no matter what martial soul you are. If you get these characteristics, will your martial soul be weak? Why do you need to add the suffix of blue-silver emperor to lower their status? The essence of blue-silver grass is to be open to all rivers and to be inclusive. Integrating all the excellent qualities into one's own body is the orthodox path of blue-silver grass. It is also the road to heaven for blue-silver grass. Han Tao took back the special martial soul inherited soul skill, made a thank you gift, and said goodbye to Yang Wudi. coming out of Yang Wudi's medicine room. He turned around and ran into Ning Tian. Ning Tian, why are you here? Ning Tian did not answer Han Tao's words. He walked into the medicine room naturally and took out 2 bottles of medicine. Han Tao's 5-dimensional perception surpassed ordinary people. He saw the medicine in Ning Tian's hand clearly. It was developed by Yang Wudi to block toxins. After Ning Tian came out, he raised his head and saw Han Tao. His eyes were a little complicated, as if hiding something. Practice. He uttered 2 words lightly. Han Tao remained silent. Ning Tian has changed a lot. In the past, he had been lingering in clubs and foot massage parlors, just like Dai Mubai of Xinglua Empire. He is a dandy son, but I don't know when he changed. He started to study hard and practice hard. He was even willing to take the poison that blocked the 3 lower routes. No. Ning Tian's change doesn't seem to be because of Ning Rongrong. Ning Tian's change didn't start after Ning Rongrong went to the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, but after he ate the Qirong Tong Tian chrysanthemum. Just as Han Tao was thinking, Ning Tian walked away, leaving him alone standing there. After a long time, Han Tao turned his back, entered the pharmacy again. Han Tao. Do you have anything else to do? Yang Wudi showed a cruel smile, quite cruel. I'll take 2 doses of the potion too. Ning Tian dared to take this, why shouldn't he? Compared with Ning Tian, Han Tao has a greater need for physical strength. Absorbing soul rings requires physical support, and passing through poison barriers also requires physical support. Han Tao is almost level 40. Courage, growth requires courage. A little embarrassment is nothing. Han Tao was determined and gritted his teeth, and took the blocking poison decisively. The medicinal properties of the poison evaporated in the body, flowing between the meridians, shuttling through the gaps in the soul power, and finally gathered in the lower 3 routes. The powerful medicinal effect condensed, blocking all the meridian routes in the lower 3 routes. Then, Han Tao took out the whale glue potion prepared by Yang Wudi. It was a black mass, exuding the stench of the ocean. Closed his eyes and swallowed it in one gulp. The medicinal power of whale glue evaporated and took effect in the body. Strong desire spread in his mind, but there was no place to excrete it. Pain, endless pain, enveloped Han Tao's body. Run without any scruples, recklessly. At the moment, Han Tao could only do this. He circled around the 7 treasures glazed sect. In the right leg bone of the blue-silver emperor, the vitality energy of wildfires can't burn out. Spring breeze blows and regenerates was nurtured in the body. Like cool rain and dew, it retreated the boundless heat. Whale glue was strengthening Han Tao's body. Soul bones were refining the medicinal power of the body, bit by bit, a thread by a thread, leisurely and long. From then on, eating and training became Han Tao's main theme. Wealth will be transformed into physical strength under the action of pharmacology, and this moment is the best interpretation. 100 points. Han Tao's physical strength successfully broke through the 3-digit figure. In Han Tao's cognition, this is 1/5 of Tang Shenwang's physical data. Physical data close to 1/5 of his does not mean that the strength is close to 1/5 of the God King. Physical data, soul power, and spirit are the dimensions of the panel. The difference in a single dimension is 5 times, and the difference in the 3 dimensions combined is 125 times. In addition, the Soul Master has a martial soul true body, which will double the Soul Master's attributes and widen the gap by 8 times. After the final calculation, the difference between the 2 may be 1,000 times. Not only that, Tang Shenwang also has soul rings and soul bones, killing domain, blue-silver domain, sea god domain, and Shura domain. And after the title Douluo, what kind of leap can be brought about by the level increase? It is said that above level 95, the gap between each level is like a natural chasm. It is also unclear about the gap between divine power and soul power, so the actual difference in combat power may exceed 10,000 times. Han Tao did not consider it so far. At present, the physique of the top martial soul level 50 is above 125, according to the Master's theory of the maximum age of soul rings. A top-level martial soul at level 50 can absorb a soul ring of up to 12,000 years. The Master's theory did not mention the risk of mental shock for a 10,000-year soul ring. Therefore, Han Tao does not plan to absorb a 10,000-year soul ring. Mental strength is his weak point. However, he has a chance to absorb a 9,999-year soul ring, as long as the physical Strength is reached, soul rings below 10,000 years do not pose a threat. This is the confidence that theory and data bring to Han Tao.